Hi to my new video on my channel. In the previous video I've shown you how to install expansion sets for Reaper, etc. How to set up your operating system. If that is the first video you are watching, then I highly recommend watching the previous videos in the playlists before, because they're all built on another. Before I continue, there's a question I have to ask you. Whenever you try to install a package in Arch Linux or in DevOS, what command are you using? Sudo pacman -s, sudo entman -n, Super Mario -cart, or download NordVPN. I'm sadly not sponsored. As you have seen, we have installed, Reapack for Reaper, made some setups, some optimizations for your operating system, for better performance, for audio production, etc. Now, the one thing you have to do when you go to the Reaper page and Reapack, then it is shown that you require some dependencies to install. I mean, you could, search for each dependency, post it in the browser and type AUR for Arch user repository and search for them. But luckily you have me, and I've made a collection for you in the description. Open it, copy paste it into your terminal, and you are done. In the last video I've shown you how to install VST plugins for Reaper, so the Pro Audio packages, etc. Install some extensions for Reaper. But one thing, if you start Reaper, extensions, Reapack, and here you can manage the VST plugins, download them, the extra. But there's one thing we need to mention first. So in the browser, Reaper, so go there, yes, so resources, Reapack package manager, and here you can see this text is important for you, because there are some extra dependencies you need to install. So, SQLite-free, for example, just go to copy, so paste it here, and type in AUR, Arch user repository. Now you can see SQLite. And here you can see the blue mark SQLite packages, etc. And what you need to do here, open the console, and first copy that here, type in yay -s, copy paste it in here, and do the exact same thing with all the others. So just copy, paste, etc. I mean, in the description you will find I've made a collection for you. You just need to copy paste them in. You don't need to manually search for all of them. And you need to do that. I've already done the work for you. So you can see for this Reapack for the work, you need to install all the dependencies. In the description, I've made a collection for you. So just copy paste these in. Now let's start up Reaper. Extensions, Reapack, import repository. Then click to discover repository. So in order to add the repositories into Reaper, the only thing you need to do is double click, copy, and paste it in here, press enter, and then the next one. And do it for all of them. So, and then you can go extensions, Reapack, browse packages after you have added all repositories, select all, actions, install update selections. I mean, if you have nothing installed previously, it will say only install, but apply. I mean, offer redundant installation, but this is how you download all these free VST plugins extra made for Reaper. And now go to FX, and you can say under JS, you will see that the amount of plugins inside JS has grown rapidly. And yeah, now the best tools, I mean, I'll show in a later video, are Psyche, amazing tools, plugins, and Toucan. Also amazing tools, functionalities. All of them for free, and they sound amazing. Tape emulation, everything. So check these two up. I mean, check all of those up, but these especially. And of course, Reeq. This here, JS. That tool, I love it. But that's enough for this video. how do you work with that? Because as I've seen, you can open Reapack, import repositories, and the Toucan plugins, the Psyche plugins, the Air Windows plugins, the Reaq plugins, etc. They each are linked to their own GitHub page, and you need to import these repositories into Reaper so Reaper can access them. And it's really amazing to say that these are plugins specifically made for Reaper. So they are coded in JS, I think, etc. So it doesn't matter on which operating system you are working on, they are working on each distribution on each operating system the same. And I mean, there you have, you know, reverb, delay plugins, tape emulation, lo-fi's, downgrade plugins, guitar amp simulation plugins, all of them for free and all of them of a way higher quality than you might think. So these are plugins that you get for free, working perfectly natively in Reaper, which one might think, you know, should cost, you know, 50 euros or something like that per plugin. So just for you to get an understanding of how good these plugins are, in my opinion. So now let me talk about Wine configuration and Winetricks. You open the terminal, type in Winecfg, wine installs and configuration. So as you can see, again we have a way too small screen. Go to graphic, and here we have the DPI. DPI is 96 right now on my 4K monitor, and change it to 192. Then yes, use, then OK. Then click to Winecfg again. So now whenever you install something via Wine, all, you know, the graphical interface will be correctly sized. And then we have Winetricks. So it's taking some time to load. Yeah, standard wine prefix, choose. Then, yeah, yes or no, your choice. Okay. So Windows DLL install. So because here, for example, you want to install a program inside Wine, but this program you want to install needs some dependencies, maybe .NET functionalities. Inside here, so press OK. Inside Winetricks you can install them. If, for example, let me make it bigger. Yeah. So D3, .NET, DXVK functionalities. So if you should stumble upon one of these issues, Winetricks is your way to go. Now let's install Flatpak. Now Flatpak is done installing. We can open any browser you want. Go to search bar and type in FlatHub. FlatHub apps for Linux. And here we are. FlatHub is basically the app store of Linux. It's an extremely huge collection of functionalities, tools, made by Krita for drawing, Blender for 3D modeling, GNU, then LibreOffice, Obsidian, anything your heart desires. Okay, maybe not anything, but most of the things your heart desires. Game emulation, networking, tools for programming, utilities. So you can either choose here to search for functionality. I mean, it's written there. I mean, if you can read them, then you may succeed. So these two tools I'm going to install. Now, the two tools I'm going to install is flatcl and bottles. In order to do that, just your console, then install, and this is drop-down functionality. Click here, and then copy-paste everything, and then right-click and copy-paste, enter, yes, yes, and let it download. And then go to bottles, same thing. So now that we've installed bottles and flatcl, let's go bottles, open it. Yeah, there's some text, you can click through there, continue, start with bottles, then go there, create new bottle, and there you can see, do you want to create a bottle for an application, for gaming or custom? Go to custom. And yeah, before I go there, go to the drop-down menu on the top right, settings, runner, and coffee, or coffee, however you want to pronounce it. And download that one, because these are different wine configurations for different purposes. Proton and Winecfg are more for gaming, coffee is more for, you can call it business, so Windows business programs, you can call them like that. So now leave that, create the bottle, custom, I call it VSTs, runner, and switch to coffee, create. So has been created successfully, great. Now enter, settings, scroll down, expanded screens and settings, and change DPI again from 96 to 192 for the exact same reason I did with Winecfg earlier. So that all these programs, these Windows programs you will be opening in there are correctly sized. And here in bottles you can see settings, do some configurations, install dependencies, which is really important, and here we can see, here you can see .NET functionalities, Internet Explorer, QuickTime, everything to your heart's desire. And yeah. What is Flatpak? Flatpak is a sandbox environment for each Linux distribution. And what this allows you is to have access to a universally accessible app store, basically. So it doesn't matter if you're working on Ubuntu, Fedora, Hotdog OS or something like that, Ubuntu. So this is made specifically to have universal access to them. How can you imagine them? How can you think about them? Think about maybe you have installed VSL in Windows, a Linux subsystem, and this is what it basically is. It allows you to install Linux programs inside a Linux environment which is running on Windows. This is what you're used to. And this allows you to have Flatpak apps inside a Flatpak environment running on Linux. So yeah, a comparison for you. Then I've installed Bottles and Flatpak. Bottles is a wine alternative. How is this usable for you? It allows you to install separate bottles. What does it mean? For example, you want to install 2 Windows programs. One of them is a really old program or a really old video game, and you need some specific dependencies for the old program to run, but you also want to install a newer game, for example, which requires the same dependencies but a newer version of them. So you might have to run the issue that you update the dependencies, but now the older program does no longer work. Just for you as an example. And what I can do is create different bottles. Each different bottle is its own digital C drive in this faked Windows environment. Then let's talk about Flatseal. What is Flatseal? Since you are working with Flatpak in an environment and not natively on your host system, you can think about Flatpak as its own bubble. So it is its own bubbles with its own functionalities, its own dependencies, which works indifferent to the outside world, your host system in that case. And you can say, okay, this program has access to my other drives, to different paths, to permissions for send notifications. So you can say, okay, I'm put in this hole here to allow this Flatpak access to information, etc. So you can really say what kind of access this program has and what access or permissions you are not willing to grant this program, which allows you far more control over the programs you are installing than most of you Windows users are used to. I mean, yeah, Windows users have never heard privacy before, but now you do. So now if you want to install, FlatHub is an amazing tool, but there's an even easier way of installing plugins, or just tools in general, not just plugins. So for, maybe you want to open Office, there's a Microsoft Word alternative, and you don't know, just want to install things through the terminal. There's also an amazing tool called -s discover. So download it. So yeah, here you can see you can all tools for working, Text Studio, Journal Plus, Joplin, Obsidian, then multimedia, QVgraph, also a GUI interface for Pipewire, but there's system settings, etc. Plasma expansions, you can themes, just different skins. So Now there are way more alternatives to install apps. If you install Discover, Discover is an app store. So basically it reaches into the Arch user repository, into the Flatpak repository, if you want to avoid using the command line. And just, install via graphical user interface and not via the console, Discover is the way to go. Thanks for watching this video, and bye till my next one.